Hi, this is Donald Curry, the Hall of Famer. You're listening to the Ringside Boxing Show.
Live from Monterey on California's beautiful Central Coast, this is the Ringside Boxing Show. I'm Dennis Taylor welcoming you to join me and my expert analysts, Travis Hartman, Rizwan Zahid, and John J. Raspanti today and every week for the hottest, sweatiest show on the West Coast. And now, from Studio 1A, it's the Ringside Boxing Show. Welcome to the Ringside Boxing Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm Dennis Taylor, and we have got an excellent show planned for you today. Coming up in a bit, John J. Raspanti and I will be interviewing a living legend, a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame's class of 2019, a guy who at the peak of his career was considered by many to be the number one pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Donald Curry, the Lone Star Cobra, beat Marlon Starling twice, Nino LaRocca, Colin Jones, Milton McCrory, Lupe Aquino, among many others, in a 40-fight career that spanned from 1980 to 1991. He also had a brief comeback in 1997. He and his brother Bruce Curry were the first siblings in boxing history to hold world titles simultaneously. This guy is officially an all-time great, and he's coming up very soon for an in-depth interview about his life and his career, so stick with us for that. Paul McLaughlin, our British correspondent, still vacationing this week, so we'll get updated on the UK boxing scene next week's show. Right now we'll catch you up on recent current events with our expert analyst. Travis Hartman is a professional boxer, trainer, and promoter from Osborne, Missouri. He's now living and training in Orlando, Florida, where looks like he might miss the worst part of the Hurricane Dorian. Rizwan Zahid's a boxing journalist from Toronto. John J. Raspanti is chief lead writer for MaxBoxing.com and DogHouseBoxing.com. And John and I are the authors of an Amazon bestseller called Intimate Warfare, the true story of the Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward boxing trilogy. So, Travis, you're speaking to us today from your home in Orlando, which supposedly is in the path of Hurricane Dorian. Tell people how the weather is and what you're hearing about the forecast for your location.
You know, I'm no weatherman, but it's 89 and sunny here right now, so I can't complain too much. But looking at the weather, it's looking like it's going to miss landfall, which, you know, hopefully it does. It stays out in the ocean where it belongs. But who knows? You know, the weather always changes. It's very, very hard to predict exactly what's going on. But right now, it's looking like it's not even going to hit Florida at all, which is good. So hopefully it just stays out in the ocean, like I said. But right now, it's literally, it's not even raining here right now. Like I said, it's 89 and sunny. So hopefully it stays that way. You know, I'm not going to complain because actually Friday I'm flying back to Missouri for my Fight for the Fearless event for my children's cancer charity. So hopefully the weather stays good so I can fly out for that on Friday.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay. All right, well, guys, the big topic from the week is Vasyliy Lomachenko's unanimous decision victory over Luke Campbell in London. I thought it was a fascinating fight. Campbell has so much length. He knows how to use his ring space. He's got a big heart. But Loma is just so special. Man, he never stops darting and ducking and sliding. This guy never seems to show fatigue, never slows down. If you rock him, he immediately seems to find a way to rock you back 3-4 times. He doesn't lose his punching power. He put Campbell down with a body shot in the 11th round. Shane McGuigan called him a once-in-a-lifetime fighter. John, you think that's any exaggeration at this point?
No, I don't. Some people still have a problem with Lomachenko, but come on. If you're honest and you take the blinders off and you think about all the things he does in the ring, you know, we've been on this show for a while. We talk about talented fighters that can do this or that, but Lomachenko does it all. You know, I mean, he is everything you said plus more. He's a joy to watch. I never miss his fights, not for the reason of knockouts, just for the pure science that he brings to it. And he's very aggressive too. And he had a puzzle in front of him. You know, he's always pretty much fighting bigger guys now, which is also something that people seem to forget. He's not a natural 135-pounder. So he's always the little guy in there, and he has to figure out how to get under that wingspan And Luke Campbell, I give all the props to Luke Campbell too, Dennis, because we always talk about in life that you want to make sure that you gave it everything you did, and he can say that. He didn't stay down when he got hit with those body shots. He popped right back up. He fought back. He fought like a gold medalist, a guy with an amazing amount of pride. He just was facing somebody who's better than him, and that's playing sports in my life. Thinking I was pretty hot in basketball and playing a team, another team from another state, and I'm like, oh my God, these guys are good. And I'm sure that's what he thought. He knew that going in, and Loma just reaffirmed it with his talent. And yeah, it looked like Loma got rocked with an uppercut when he was coming in, but then he just fights back with that champion pride. So he's got all the intangibles. They were talking about maybe he's starting to break down a little bit because some of the injuries. I mean, well, he is human. We have to remember that, but. There just seems to be from some boxing fans some ridiculous envy about him. Let's enjoy him while we have him. Let's not find little things that we can critique, because he does everything well. He's a class act, and as I said, I'm just going to repeat what I said, Dennis. I think he's a joy to watch, a joy as a person, and he's great for the sport. And he just shows you, well, you know what he does is, back to what you said, Sean McGuigan said, is that those things that he does in there, they are elite. And that's what I think about Lomachenko. He is an elite athlete. He is an elite fighter, and he deserves all those comments.
Travis, what about the pressure he puts on his opponent, not only physically but mentally, for the entire fight? This guy's like a cyborg. He analyzes, he does his calculation, he solves the problem. It's like fighting a robot. Arum called him the best technical fighter of all time, which is what a promoter should say about a guy like Lomachenko. Let's face it. But have you ever seen a better one technically in your lifetime?
I mean, no. I mean, I think what we're witnessing, he's a breath of fresh air for boxing experts like us and even fans. That's why he's like the double whammy. He's somebody who is amazing to watch as a fan. He's fan friendly, but he's also technically sound. And I say that because a guy like Mayweather is more of a guy that the experts and guys like us look at him and be like, oh my gosh, what he does is amazing. But Mayweather hasn't always been fan friendly. And then you reverse that and you have a guy like Arturo Gatti, who is crazy fan friendly, but technically not very good, to be honest. So when you have a guy like Lomachenko who's got both, he is fan friendly and he's technically sound and he does some crazy stuff and he punches from crazy angles. It's oh my gosh, like Bob Arum, for once, we should believe what Bob Arum says. You'll never probably hear me ever say that again, but what Bob Arum said is true. He's once in a lifetime type of a guy. It's very, very rare that you find a guy who is fan friendly and technically so savvy. And that's what Vasyliy Lomachenko is, and he showed it. And he's showing it against guys who are in another world, in another lifetime, in another era. Luke Campbell would be the champion of the world. He would be. That guy's good. That guy would be a champion if it wasn't for Lomachenko. And I think we all can agree on that Luke Campbell is a fighter. Luke Campbell is a gold medalist. Luke Campbell knows how to fight, but he just ran up against a guy like Vasyliy Lomachenko. It's just like playing in the same era as Michael Jordan or playing in the same era as LeBron James. It's just, you know what? It's a blessing for us to watch, but it's kind of a curse for anybody else playing against those guys during that era. And it is what it is, but it's special. I think John is pinpoint accurate. He's a joy to watch, and we all should just love what he's doing and just enjoy it while it lasts, because all sports, like all professions, like anything in life, it's not going to be there forever, and it's not. There's going to be a time when he does start to break down. There's going to be a time when he loses, or if he doesn't lose, there'll be a time when he actually slows down a little bit, and that's always going to happen. Father Time is undefeated. Lomachenko might be the undisputed champion right now, but he's not. The kryptonite is Father Time, and it's going to eventually happen. So right now, we should enjoy what we're seeing, because what he did to Luke Campbell last night was amazing. And the fact, this is what's amazing about it, though. The fact that, and this is what everybody loves to see. They love to see a guy who's that good, but they also love to see a guy who's that good to go through some adversity during the fight, and he does. You know, he was down in Jorge Linares, put him on the canvas. He gets back up. He comes through adversity. Luke Campbell had him hurt, had him a little bit staggered. And what happened? Lomachenko rose through all of the adversity and showed why he's a great. He's without a single doubt, even though he's got, 12, 13 fights, he's a Hall of Famer. Without a single doubt in my mind, this guy's a Hall of Famer already. And what he does is phenomenal. And, again, we should literally take nothing away from Luke Campbell. That guy gave a great performance. He did everything he could. And I'm going to tell you that as a professional fighter myself, that those body shots, man, guys, I've been in the ring with the best in the world, Keith Thurman, Crawford, Chavez Jr., all of them. None of them have ever knocked me out with a headshot. I've never been knocked out with a headshot in my entire career. I have losses, but it's body shots. Body shots are the hardest punches to overcome. So the fact that Luke Campbell gritted down against a monster like Lomachenko who comes forward the whole time, the fact that he was still able to get out of that fight and go the distance, to me is impeccable. It's a greatness in itself to be able to rise from one of those body shots and still finish that fight on your feet. And, you know, more props to Luke Campbell right now for getting through that, because those body shots, when you watch them in slow-mo, I'm hurt, guys. I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, man, my stomach kind of hurts for Luke Campbell, because those were some legit body shots.
Yeah, man, he just, like you said, when you see him in slow motion, they just caved in his rib cage. You know, and you just, oh brutal. My God, yeah, you're grunting all the way across the pond. John, you alluded to this a second ago, but you know, the thing people forget about Lomachenko is he's a natural 126-pounder. That's easy to forget. He was fighting 9 pounds above his weight division yesterday. Arum says he wants to unify that 135-pound division, which means the winner of the Richard Comey-Teofimo Lopez fight that's coming up. Ward thinks whoever wins that fight is going to give Lomachenko problems. Tim Bradley's on the other end. He says Loma beats either guy without any trouble. Who do you agree with there?
I don't actually agree totally with either of them. I think that Comey is longer, like Luke Campbell, so that problem that he had a little bit figuring out Campbell took about 2 rounds at that. Might be a little bit of an issue. I think he beats Teofimo easier. I do. I think Loma's too smart for Teofimo at this point, and you don't hear him saying much anymore. We had him on the show, and his father. They're great. They're great at promoting him, but they've been very quiet. That last fight was a hard fight for Lopez, and Teofimo. I mean, if Lomachenko was watching that, he was probably thinking, okay, I'm not going to have any problem with this guy. Now, that doesn't mean that'll be the same Teofimo after the Comey fight. That fight between Comey and Teofimo Lopez is a very interesting fight. I'm not even sure who I go give the edge to. I'm going to have to give that some thought right now. Maybe Lopez, but I don't know. But I think even a Lomachenko with 400 amateur fights, 15 pro fights, injuries, maybe his body's starting to not slowing down. No, but something's going on there. And he's fighting. You see that? Forgetting all that for a second, I'm jumping all over, but this is the only way it makes sense. It's what you alluded to and what I alluded to. He's fighting bigger guys in there. Now, Teofimo's not so much bigger, but that's what to me makes him, like Pacquiao, so impressive. He could have stayed at 126 and just dominated for the next, as long as he wanted to. He'd have just won his fights, and we would have been like, oh, okay, he's going to stay at 126. And we would have loved it, because that's his right to stay at 126. But he keeps moving up and taking on harder challenges, not at the level that they have the same talent as him, but the fact that they're bigger. And this is something I'm sure Travis could talk to. Fighting a guy bigger than you, that's got to be pretty hard. Okay, you first you got to figure out how to get under his jab. Then you got to work the body like he did so well. But a guy bigger like that hits harder. And so that's exactly. So that's a challenge. That's a challenge on itself right there. So, yeah, I think I look forward to Lomachenko fighting Comey or Lopez. I think that's a good one. And that fight between Comey and Lopez is good. But I obviously give Loma the edge over both of them because see the other thing. One more thing. The thing that separates Lomachenko is what you said too, Dennis, and I think Travis said too. Is he's got that. Oh, you Dennis, because you called him a cyborg. He's got that brain that Muhammad Ali had a brain like that. That he just downloads information and figures his opponent out. Mayweather has a brain like that. We're talking great fighters here, and that's what he does. You can see what I love to watch the first round with Lomachenko because lately I don't think he cares at all about the first round. He loses the first round, and he did. I gave Campbell the first round. He didn't care because he was just figuring him out. He was just, okay, I got to do this. I see that he's going to stay on the outside a little bit. He's going to be moving his hands. He's going to be just trying to keep me busy, kind of like Pedraza did. Okay, I got that. Second round, he starts to figure him out a little bit. Third round, he's picking it up. He's downloaded. He knows what he's got to do. He's bobbing and weaving. He's using that amazing footwork that he has. And that's another thing that separates him from a lot of guys. And one other thing, his father is also really in his ear, and he listens to his father, even though he didn't really listen to him all the time because his father was like, just stay patient, keep boxing. But I think Loma kind of wanted a knockout. I think that's why he got clipped by that uppercut coming in a little too aggressively. But he's just incredible. And like I said, he's got all the assets. He's got all those things with the incredible brain that he has to figure things out. And Travis, you talk about that. I mean, isn't that just an amazing ability to be in the ring with a guy and you're able to figure him out? So you saw it. I'm sure you've seen this with Lomachenko. Yeah. He figures guys out in like 3 minutes.
That's what I love. I love that the average person, when you think of a professional boxer, you immediately think that, they're just brute strength. They're not very smart.
Right.
But this is why I love boxing and guys like Mayweather's the same way. Mayweather and Lomachenko, they're so intelligent. And this is why they're not just intelligent. They're so intelligent that they're able to make these decisions while getting punched in the brain. Let's think about that, guys.
Yep.
He's that smart, and he's able to process that information while he's still taking shots. Lomachenko still takes shots, and he gets hit, but he's still able, on another level, to process all of that information while getting hit in the brain, which is where your thought process comes from. But yet he's still so calm, cool, collected, and able to process that information and break down guys. He's like a Rubik's Cube out there. I mean, that's all there is to it. He's a very intelligent fighter, and a lot of that comes from his training, his repetition, but a lot of that comes from the dude is just naturally amazing, and he can break down people, and it's like he's putting a puzzle together while there's like bullets flying at him. You know what I mean? Like he's in the battlefield, and there's bullets whizzing by his head, and a couple of them actually clip him, but yet he's still putting that puzzle together. He's still finishing that Rubik's Cube, and that's why I really hope that the average fan or the average person that watches this guy realizes how absolutely amazing he is. And again, I don't want to take away from it because I genuinely believe Floyd Mayweather was that way as well. Floyd Mayweather would lose a lot of rounds early too, and he was just compiling information. And that's exactly what Lomachenko does. He compiles that information. He'll lose a round or two here and there, but he'll lose a round because he's going to win about 5 or 6 more because of that information he got during that round that he lost. Yeah. He never loses. It's always an experience for him, those rounds. So I don't even think in his mind he thinks he loses a round. I think he's just gathering information, and that's his mindset. And it works perfect for him because look what he's doing. What he's doing is phenomenal, and I think we all agree with that. He's just a phenomenal athlete, and the fact that he can process that information while getting punched in the brain. I mean, he's getting jarred and moved around, and he's still processing that information. It's phenomenal to me. As a fighter, it's still phenomenal to me.
Travis, does it blow up your mind to wonder what would have happened if Lomachenko had been able to fight Mayweather at like 130?
Oh my gosh, Dennis, you're talking. That's a utopia for all of us fight fans right there to see those two going at it. You know what? I would even pay as much just to see those guys spar. even right now, even though Mayweather is obviously way past his prime, I would pay the same amount of money as a fight ticket would be for those guys just to watch them spar, like 6 rounds. I would watch them spar 6 rounds, and it would probably be it would blow my mind. Like, I think my head would explode at the massive amount of just, like, technician and smarts, and, like, it's crazy because what are those guys going to, it would be like a stalemate. That's what those guys both are the type of fighters that they play chess, and everybody else plays checkers. And those two are chess players, and they're going to be playing against each other. It would be a stalemate. Like, it would just, I can't even imagine, Dennis. That would be a dream of something to watch. And even, let's do the pound for pound. I mean, let's put Muhammad Ali in there with Vasyliy Lomachenko. If they were both with the same weight, that would be a dream as well. It's just, This guy's phenomenal, and I hope that the average fan, I think they are now. I think they really are. I think early in Lomachenko's career, nobody really knew about him, but I think that Bob Arum has done an amazing job of getting the word out there and getting the exposure out there to see a guy like Lomachenko, because I think the average fan, the general public, needs to know how amazing this guy is, and I think we are. I think they're coming around. I think everybody is. I think people have heard about Lomachenko now, which is great because he deserves to be heard. He deserves to be seen because, one, he's not just a hard worker, or he's not just a talent. He's a hard worker, and that's what separates him from a lot of people, because there's a lot of very talented fighters out there, but he combats that with hard work as well. So that's what's phenomenal about him. He's intelligent and he works hard, and that just makes him great right there.
Okay, so let me throw another brain hemorrhage your way, you guys. How attractive is a Lomachenko fight at 135 pounds for Mikey Garcia, considering all the options Mikey has right now from 135 to 147 pounds? John, what, I mean, does Mikey want that fight right now, considering everything else he's got going on?
One thing about Mikey is he loves challenges. He's another one, but I don't think he wants to get down to 135 again. I don't. I think he might go to 140. I could be wrong, but he likes 147, but maybe 140. But Lomachenko, in my view, as great as he is, should not go up to 140. I think he should. Yeah. This should be his top number is 135. And if you ask me who I would give the edge to against Mikey, I would give it to Loma, because Lomachenko is, because he's so fast. And Mikey's never fought anybody that fast. I mean, that would be a hell of a fight too. That would be a chess match in a lot of ways. Because Mikey's got so much power too. If you remember, he's knocking guys stiff 135. So Loma would have to be careful, and his dad would be yelling in his ear, "You just got to outbox this guy. You got to outbox this guy." I think it would be obviously more competitive than his fight with Errol Spence was, because Errol Spence is just too big and strong and overpowering in a way. I mean, that's what happened to Mike. He got overpowered by Errol Spence. This time he'd be the bigger guy. So he would be trying, in a sense, to be being Errol Spence to Lomachenko. But Lomachenko also has that. The other thing that we're just raving about the guy, but it's impossible not to. I mean, not only is he relentless, but then he'll turn around and he'll move around the ring. He'll use lateral movement. He'll duck and he'll bob and he'll weave and he'll feint. And I'm just going to keep mirroring what Travis is saying. Boxing fans, almost all fighters. Well, there are some, but they can't do all of that. And that's the thing that makes it so phenomenal. They can do some things really, really good, but Lomachenko can pretty much do whatever he wants in there, and that is the talent that separates him. So back to the Mikey fight. That's a dream fight, Dennis. I love it, but again, I would give the edge to Loma just by speed, but that would be a fight that could end because of Mikey's power. So Mikey would have a great equalizer, but also I think Loma's brain again. I think he would find a way to outbox Mikey and win a decision. That's just my view. But again, I think Mikey likes fighting at 147. He hasn't said anything about 140. I mean, he'd probably go down if he wanted to, but his loss. I haven't heard much. He was going to fight Danny Garcia, I heard, for a while, but nothing has happened with that. Yeah. So I don't know. You just wonder. The other thing is too is that a guy like Lomachenko is like the greats were his focus and his passion, desire, his sacrifice is the word I'm looking for. this is his life, boxing. He's not going to go away for 3 months and goof off and not do anything. I mean, you know that the guy's back in the gym in, what, a week or two, as long as he didn't get hurt anything. I mean, he loves what he does, and he wants to be the best. So I don't know if Mikey's got that kind of dedication anymore. He would have to compete with Lomachenko, but you wouldn't have any doubt. I mean, we never have any doubt about Lomachenko, whether he's going to be in shape, whether he's going to be ready, whether he's going to be ready to go, prepared. He is what a great athlete is supposed to be, not only because his talent is so phenomenal, but because his commitment is so good.
Yep.
Arum says that he's capable of fighting at 126, 130, or 135. Loma says he's willing to go to 130 to face Gervonta Davis, which is pretty intriguing to me. Arum also says that the monster, Naoya Inoue, is calling him out. Inoue's 118 pounds. Travis, is there any way that matchup isn't a pipe dream? Could Inoue come up to 126 and fight Lomachenko?
I mean, if Inoue wants to make a ton of money, which he probably does, I would think he would fight because, I mean, there's not obviously a lot of money at 118 pounds. We know that. So if he wanted to, I don't think it's a pipe dream because I think that he definitely wants it. It's just whether Lomachenko wants to come down to 126. So we'll see about that. I mean, here's why that any power puncher that fights Lomachenko is a fun fight because we have found out that Lomachenko can be hit. He can't cut. He's against him. He's been hurt versus Campbell. So, I mean, there is a little bit of chink, so to speak, in his armor. But the fact is, nobody's perfect, and it's boxing. There's going to be a punch for the land. So that's kind of the intriguing aspect of it all, is that I want to see Lomachenko any power puncher.
We're losing you, Travis. Go see if you can pick up some bars there. Still there? I guess we lost Travis, John. Hey, call us back, Travis, if you can still hear us. Okay, so what about that, John? The monster at 126 against Loma?
Well, I want Travis to call back because I want to ask him, dropping 9 pounds like that in your 30s, because Lomachenko's 31, how hard would that be? He could probably do it, but how much would it weaken him? And then Inoue would have to gain 8 pounds. So in a sense, it would be a trade-off. But that's Aram talking. I don't hear Lomachenko saying 126. I hear Lomachenko saying 130. So I hope Travis gets back on the line because I want to know how he feels about getting. Lomachenko hasn't been at 126 in quite a long time. So how hard would it be to get down? You know, gaining weight is one thing. Losing it and maintaining your strength is another one. You can overtrain because you're trying to lose weight too, and be stale in there, be sluggish, and that's always. Or sometimes when you gain weight, that happens. But I just think when you're older, I think it would be harder to do that. Sure, that's a dream fight. I mean, Inoue is a bomber. I mean, he's going to fight Denier here in December. We can't wait to see that. Denier has a shot because of his left hook, but the monster is the monster. He's the real deal. The kid is really a good fighter. So, there's Travis. Okay, so there you go, Travis. So that's what I was saying. What do you think if you're Lomachenko? Would you be comfortable going from, you've been at 135 for a while, going down to 126 and saying to yourself, okay, well, I'm not going to be weakened by that, because he's 31 now, and I think it's harder to lose weight like that and maintain your edge or whatever your strength. What do you think Lomachenko thinks about that?
You know what? I just want to say that Hurricane Dorian just knocked me down, but I'm back up, guys, and I'm going to keep going here. They definitely knocked my signal out. But I was here for a while there before I realized that it cut me off. But I think it's an awesome fight for Inoue because there's not a lot of money at 118 pounds. So, of course, he wants to come up to 126 and fight Lomachenko. But it's Lomachenko, you always see in the history of boxing that guys that go up in weight and then come back down in weight,
Yes.
It always seems to be a struggle for them. I mean, we see the massive that somebody as massive went down. So there's a massive undertaking when people try to go up in weight and down to a weight. So I don't know if it's a great move for Lomachenko, but it's Lomachenko. Right. Do you think he's going to say no to that? He'll say yes. And what I was saying before I got cut off was that I want to see Lomachenko that can punch, and that's a Mikey Garcia, that's a Gervonta Tank Davis, and that's Inoue, because seeing that Lomachenko, he does have a small chink in his armor where he does get caught every once in a while, and Jorge Linares put Lomachenko down on his butt, and Luke Campbell last night actually hurt Lomachenko as well. Visibly, it was definitely hurt. So for him to fight Inoue could sneak in there for him. And that's what makes the fight definitely favor Lomachenko. That's the beauty of boxing, and that's why I would love to give those fights, because you take off Davis, he can punch. We all know he can punch. If he slips one of those punches and Lomachenko half a centimeter off on his slip or on his roll, he could put his butt before he does. And that's the thing about power punchers. It makes it beautiful for us to watch, because that's all.
We're losing you again, Travis. See if you can adjust somewhere.
That's
I think he's gone again.
Yeah,
John Donaire says that whoever makes the first mistake against Inoue is going to lose that fight. Donaire versus Inoue. Is he right?
On his part, yes, I think, because I saw him get knocked out by the straw man, Nicholas Walters, and I haven't seen Inoue get buzzed, or so I guess in a way he is right, because that's the one thing about Inoue we don't know is his chin. I've seen him get hit lightly, but I haven't seen him get hit with a guy that can punch like Donaire. So I don't know. I just have the feeling that Inoue will take it better than Donaire. He's younger, he's fresher, he hasn't been in any wars, he knocks out everybody so quickly, he's going to be primed, he knows what he's facing, but it's going to be fascinating. If Donaire lands that left hook that we've seen him knock guys senseless with, and he hurts Inoue, and you could count that as a mistake, he gets caught with that left hook, because Inoue knows that's Donaire's game. He knows that's his money punch, his game changer, his equalizer, whatever cliche you want to use. That's what he wants to do. He wants to hit you with that left hook. He wants to set you up. He gets caught by that. That's definitely a mistake. He gets hurt by that. That changes everything. So, yeah, I guess in a way you're right. I just think that he's right. Donaire's right. I just think that at this point, obviously, Donaire has slipped some, and he was very fortunate in the tournament with the injuries and other things that happened. But I was very happy for him because he's such a class act. Putting that all aside, though, he's facing a guy who possibly is. I don't even think he's at his prime yet, Dennis. You know, he's working his way towards that. Mm-hmm. So it's a big hill to climb, and much props for him to taking that fighting for all the beans there in the finals. But yeah, in a way. But like I said, I think in a way I'll end up stopping him probably 5th or 6th round.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Travis, are you back?
Yeah. Did you guys give me the 8 count? You didn't count me out, right?
No, didn't count you out. Nope. Another knockdown.
I'm back.
Out.
Don't count.
Yeah, got hit with some body shots, but you're up.
Yeah, it was brutal. Hurricane Dorian was brutal to me, guys.
Okay, hey, Kovalev says he's open to fighting Canelo at a catch weight. No surprise there on Canelo's part because he loves catch weights. But I guess the question, and I hope you can get through this one, Travis. Wouldn't that probably be really tough on Kovalev, considering that number one, he's an aging fighter, and number two, he's been at 175 his entire career? Isn't it going to be hard for Kovalev to fight under 175 pounds?
Yeah, it's going to be impossible for him to be at his best under 175 pounds. He definitely will make it, and he'll definitely try to make it because of the money and the payday. As I said last week, the payday is massive, so he's definitely going to try to make it. But that's going to be a huge advantage to Canelo, is that Kovalev's going to be coming down. And And that's just, it's going to suck it out of him because Kovalev is a big guy. He's a tall guy. He's a big guy. And to come down in weight, I wonder what that catch weight would be, though. That'd be curious because, 175 it's a big weight class for Kovalev already. So for him to make anything under that would be, I don't know. 170 maybe will be the catch weight. I'm not sure, but you're right. Canelo's the king of that. And Canelo holds all the cards for the catch weight and to dictate those terms. So Canelo's going to take every advantage he can get because he's coming up in weight already. So they're definitely going to make Kovalev be as weak as possible. And that's what's going to happen is that Kovalev's going to have to suck his body down and be super weak for the fight. And that's going to be a huge advantage for Canelo. So, Kovalev will make it, but will he be the same Kovalev that we've seen? Probably not because of that. And he's older as well, and coming down in weight is it's always a recipe for disaster for any elite level type of fighter. Like I said earlier, I don't know if it cut off or not, but Roy Jones Jr. went up to heavyweight, won the title, came back down, ended up getting knocked out by Antonio Tarver.
Yeah.
So there's not a good precedent for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Any closing thoughts, John?
Well, I don't know if you guys were going to say anything about Jeff Horn. You saw he got beat, I'm sure,
Yep.
and a lot of people are happy about it, mostly because I'm not happy about it. I think Jeff Horn is a great guy, a super nice guy, but I'm always going to say that he got a gift against Manny Pacquiao, and he wasn't all that good anyway to begin with. He won a title, so he got the maximum amount out of his ability. I read from my buddy at Max Boxing, my prime writer, Anthony Cox, that he looked very sluggish. It was his first fight as a middleweight. And he wants a rematch because he's a fighter at heart. But the Hornet, I was surprised, but then again, I wasn't because, again, I never thought he was all that much to begin with. He's tough, but he the way that he got built up by some people was because of the Pacquiao so-called win was, in my view, ridiculous. So he might get the rematch, and that's it for him. He better win if he gets the rematch. But that was big news in Australia, and a lot of shock to a lot of Aussies. But again, when you're pretty good, and you try to motivate a guy in his hometown, you better be careful. And it kind of happened when Horn fought Pacquiao. That might have been his best fight, and Pacquiao probably didn't take. I know. Didn't take him very seriously, and that's what happened, even though I think Pacquiao, again, won that fight. But I don't want Horn to go away like a lot of people I read. I posted something, and they're like, good, now I don't have to hear about him anymore. You're going to still hear about him. It's his first loss. But he's all cut up again. And so I just, in a way, I guess you step away from all that and think to yourself, well, here's a guy that got the most out of what he's got. And in a way, that's admirable. So I'll just leave it at that. He got everything he could out of the talent that he was given to by God.
Yep. Actually, second loss to Crawford knocked him out.
Yeah,
second loss. That's right. That's right, Crawford. Yes.
But Travis, you're kind of in Horn's corner a little bit too, because he did come away with that win over Pacquiao, if you consider it a win. And he's probably going to be mostly an answer to a trivia question. I think he'll be a footnote in history. But hey, man, the guy won a world title. And
right.
He's an all-time great.
I'm with the majority here where I didn't actually think he beat Pacquiao, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter what we think because when it goes down in history and it goes in the record books, it goes that Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao, who we all know is a Hall of Famer. So he's always going to have that on his record. So hate it or love it or whatever you want, the fact is he won. He beat Pacquiao. It's down in the record books as a win. So, Jeff Horn, he's a good fighter. Maybe not even good. We'll just say average. He's a C-plus fighter probably, which is amazing at this level. And, a lot of people wish they could even be a C-plus fighter. Because he made a lot of money. He won a world title. He was in position to fight for a world title, so you got to give the guy props for that. Will he go away? Probably not. But I have a soft spot for Australians. I like Australians. They're just good-natured people, and I just like it. And Jeff Horn's a really tough guy, so he'll be back, and he'll probably get another big fight. But he probably doesn't have any really, really big wins that's ahead of him right now because he gets beat by all the top guys from light middleweight, welterweight, even all the way to middleweight. but he's a good guy. He's a hard-nosed guy. He'll come back, and he'll probably have a couple more fights, and who knows, maybe he'll avenge this loss. I don't know what the whole circumstance was, but if he gets a rematch and he wins, good for him. He's a hard-nosed guy. He comes and he brings fights to fighters, so he's good for the fans. He'll be a good TV fight for somebody, and I wish the best for Horn. I do, because like I said, I have a soft spot for Australians, Dennis. I really like them. I get along with them. They're such nice people, but at the end of the day, like they always say, sometimes the nice guys finish last, and in boxing, you better be good. And if you're going to be nice, you better be great. And I don't think Jeff Horn's great.
Right. You guys are the best. That's Travis Hartman and Rizwan and John J. Raspanti. Rizwan couldn't make it today. Travis, stay safe, man.
Yeah,
Thanks,
stay
guys.
safe, Travis. Yeah.
All right. Paul McLaughlin has a week off over in England, so we're going to take a really quick pause, and then John and I are going to be talking to an all-time great, the Lone Star Cobra, International Boxing Hall of Famer, Donald Curry. We'll be back in about a minute. I also want to mention that Ruben Villa, our local guy, 13-0. He's a bantamweight, featherweight, and he's going to be fighting September 20th. In another undefeated guy, one of the biggest fights of his career. So his rise he's on a collision course one of these days with Shakur Stevenson, who he beat twice in the amateurs. So we'll be back in 1 minute with the Lone Star Cobra. Stay with us.
Oh boy, is this great!
If you like the Ringside Boxing Show, you're going to love the website, RingsideBoxingShow.com.
I'm Dennis Taylor, co-author of the Amazon bestseller Intimate Warfare, the true story of the Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward boxing trilogy. Writing this book was a labor of love for John J. Raspanti and myself. We enjoyed every minute of the process and considered it a privilege to tell the tale of one of the most electrifying boxing trilogies in the history of this sport. Intimate Warfare traces the collision course of Arturo Gatti and Mickey Ward from their earliest days through their 3 epic fights, as well as the aftermath of this great rivalry, which culminated in one of the greatest friendships in boxing. Intimate Warfare has received a 4.5-star rating from readers and was endorsed by Hall of Famers Harold Letterman and Joe Cortez and 2-time Trainer of the Year Virgil Hunter. Our foreword was written by Ray Boom Boom Mancini, another one of the greatest blood and guts fighters of our time. Get your copy today at Amazon.com.
A left hand, down goes McCrory. A smashing left hook. He's in trouble. Curry right back. It's over. This one is history. 8, 9, 8. You couldn't see a more picture-perfect fight than Donald Curry fought tonight. He has the makings of being a truly great, great fighter. I would say it's a great, great fight. Donald Curry proved that he has the makings of a great champion. He threw a left hook and right hand. Milton McCrory is still down.
Welcome back to the Ringside Boxing Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. I'm Dennis Taylor with John J. Raspanti, and we are truly honored today to be joined by one of the best fighters of his era, one of the best fighters of any era. He's an International Boxing Hall of Famer, class of 2019, whose career spanned from 1980 to 1991, and he had a brief comeback in 97, and including world championships in 2 weight divisions. Donald Curry, the Lone Star Cobra, who fought a who's who of boxing stars, and that list included Marlon Starling, Elio Diaz, Nino LaRocca, Colin Jones, Milton McCrory, who's the clip you just heard, Lloyd Hunnigan, Mike McCallum, Lupe Aquino, Michael Nunn, Terry Norris, many others. He and his older brother, Bruce Curry, were the first brothers to hold world championship belts simultaneously. Donald Curry retired with a record of 34-6, 25 knockouts as a pro. And by the way, he also was one of the greatest amateur fighters of all time with a record of, get this, 400 wins, 4 losses including 5 national championships. We'll talk more with him about that in a minute. Donald, welcome to the Ringside Boxing Show. Congratulations on being inducted in the International Boxing Hall of Fame class of 2019. That honor was long overdue. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you very much. And I'm very welcome, man, that y'all having me on today. Thank you very much. I haven't done this in a long time, but I'm very excited.
so are we.
Way cool. All right. Yeah, so are we. Hey, what kind of a moment was it for you to get the news that you were finally going to be enshrined in Canastota along with Julian Jackson, the Hawk, Buddy McGirt, Tony DeMarco, one of the great old-timers? How does it feel to be officially certified as one of the greatest fighters who ever lived?
I mean, that statistic is very overwhelming to me. But let me let you in for a little secret. You know, when I got into boxing, it was my oldest brother, Bruce, who got me into boxing. I really, not that I didn't like it, I was very good at it, but it wasn't something that I liked to do. I liked to do, I was just good at it, and I did it. So boxing just wasn't my thing at that time until I really turned pro and started getting a lot of attention. But I was really not a really big boxing fan.
What was your best sport when you were a little kid?
I played all sports. I played soccer. I played football. I played basketball. I ran track. It wasn't anything I felt like I couldn't do and do it well.
If you had taken a different path, what would you have been a real stud in high school? What do you think you would have played?
Boxing. No, really, boxing. Boxing was really my best sport. I was really good at boxing, but I was just okay at the other sports.
Okay.
Boxing, yeah. It's just like, who likes to get hit upside their head?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Yeah.
Hey, okay, so here's a crazy question for you. Is it true that you were watching the Jerry Springer show when you got the call about the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I love Jerry. Yeah, I watch Jerry quite often. He's very entertaining.
Oh yeah.
Jerry's a smart guy. He knows how to entertain the public. It's just like boxing. It reminds me of boxing, as far as entertaining. And I was an entertainer in the sport, and I like Jerry for what he does in the entertainment business, because I'm in that business.
I see.
Yep.
Yeah, I see that.
So you're from Fort Worth, Texas, Donald, where you started boxing, we read, when you were 7 years old. You mentioned your brother Bruce, who was 12 when you were 7. Was he already boxing, or did you guys start at the same time?
He maybe started, let's say, it wasn't maybe 2 weeks when he started, but I think he had started competing a little bit before we did, because he was on the senior team and I was on the junior, because I was only 7 and he was 14.
Were you guys close as kids? Like, was he a role model, the older brother, like a protector, or was that age difference pretty significant?
Well, he was. I mean, we kind of grew up. I played a lot of sports, so I really didn't get into any trouble outside of boxing or football, because I was always in sports. I was always doing something. I was always busy. I played basketball, football, baseball. I mean, every sport I did. So I had really no time to, run with my friends. All my friends were in sports. So outside of the sports, that was my world.
Man, your big brother was, and this is something people might not realize, your big brother also was an incredible amateur. He had a record of 315-11, and he was the runner-up to Sugar Ray Leonard at the '76 Olympic trials. And of course, that's when Sugar Ray really got famous. He won the gold medal, and Howard Cosell made a huge star out of him. You were 404, 400 wins, 4 losses, 5 national championships. You beat Davey Moore to you actually made the 1980 Olympic team. But people our age are going to remember that's the year that the U.S. boycotted the '80 Olympics in Moscow. So you didn't get to go. How difficult a pill was that to swallow for you as an 18-year-old kid that you weren't going to get to go for that reason?
Well, like I told you, I played a lot of sports, and at that time, I did not understand the implication of Russia invading Afghanistan. It meant something to me because I heard it in the news, but otherwise it didn't affect me until I really understand politics and the and that type of business as I got a little older. But really at that time I was so young, I was so involved in so many other sports where it affected me, but not as much. I was able to carry on.
I read somewhere that you weren't even really thinking about turning pro at that point. That wasn't really on your radar. Is that true?
Yeah, yes, sir. It wasn't on my radar. The only problem was when I graduated high school, I didn't have a lot of money where I could go to college, so I thought that I would make me some money in boxing and then go back to college. But as you know, I won the world championship on my 14th, 15th fight. Yeah. So I started getting interested in boxing. I kind of forgot about the school.
Yeah, you turned pro in December of 1980, and you went 25-0 over the next 5 years. And like you said, your 12th pro fight was a 3-round TKO victory over Bruce Finch, who had fought Sugar Ray Leonard for 2 world title belts just 3 months earlier. And your 15th pro fight was against Marlon Starling, who was 25-0 already, and you beat him by a split decision in 1982. And I read that you had bruised ribs going into that fight, and it was a real struggle for you to make weight. Are those things true?
Well, the first fight it was. The second fight, I was really prepared for him, but the first fight, I had really a lot of problems. And, I was still young, and I didn't want to fight because when you go into the ring, you want to be 100%. But as I got older, I found out, our athletes are sometimes they don't participate at 100%. And, I was okay with it after, I found out most athletes, play the sport and maybe don't go in 100%. So it was okay then. But at that time, I always wanted to be 100%. And if I felt like I was 100%, nobody would beat me.
I see. Yeah, when you fought Marlon, Donald, he was just 2 years older than you and had turned pro the year before you did. Had your paths crossed as amateurs? Did you fight when you were amateurs?
No, Marlon is 6 years older.
Oh man, that's not what BoxRec says. Yeah, they've got him born in 59, and you're 61, right?
No, I'm 57.
Yeah, 56. But you were born in 1961.
Yeah, born in 61. He was born in, I think he was born in 57.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, BoxRec has that wrong then.
BoxRec's got it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, well, me and Marlon are pretty good friends. I kind of talk to him on a regular basis, so that's why I really know. He's a little bit older than I was. He come up with my big brother, Bruce. Him and Bruce were in the same tournaments together.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Donald when Dennis and I interviewed Marlon. He was talking about you a lot, and he said you guys are really, really good friends, and you talk, right? You talk all the time.
Yeah, matter of fact, a couple of days ago, yesterday, or just earlier today, I spoke with him.
There you go.
Yeah. Small world.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we still kind of talk about the game and the fighters that's in the game today.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of compare ourselves to that era.
Sure. Makes a lot of sense. Now, your first world title fight for the vacant WBA welterweight belt came against Jun-Suk Wong, who was 21-0 with 11 knockouts. I remember that fight. I was watching it. It was in Fort Worth, your hometown. Both of you guys were both just 21 years old. Fight was a grueling fight. It went 15 rounds. You won by unanimous decision. What are your most vivid memories of that night and that fight?
You know, that this guy was probably, maybe not probably, he was the strongest guy physically that I had fought. And I don't think, besides moving up in weight, 147, he was the most physical guy in that division. He was more physical than anybody from being champ all the way down to number 10. But that guy was really, really strong. He was a good puncher. And I don't think anybody in that division at that time at welterweight could punch like he did. And he did knock me down. I think about the 7th round. And I got up and I boxed him. I was a very good boxer. And I just, used my hands and feet and my speed to beat him.
Talking to Donald Curry, the Hall of Famer on the Ringside Boxing Show. So your brother Bruce won his world title, I think, just 3 months later, making you guys the first brothers to hold world championship belts at the same time. How big of a deal was that for you guys and also for Fort Worth? Man, you guys must have been the cocks of the walk.
Hey, man, hey, look here. I was excited that we were the first two brothers. You're always excited, especially when you're in competition with your peers, that you and your brother were the first brothers to go on and win the world title. At the same time, matter of fact, we were the first brothers to ever do that. And that was kind of a big deal. And every time I got into any type of argument or talking about boxing, I always had that to say, hey, me and my brother, first two brothers to ever hold the world title. You tell me something about you and your brother. So it was always a good advantage on me when I talked to my friends who are in boxing, like Marlon and Milt McCory. I talked to Milt. But, it was always bragging rights. And we're still doing that.
Well, you earned it. So you had a successful title defense against Roger Stafford later that year, and then you fought your rematch with Starling, who by then was 31-1. His loss was to you. That fight was close on all three scorecards, but you won a unanimous decision. How good was Marlon Starling? Who
Marlon, like I told you, Marlon was a little older than I was. He come up in the amateurs with my brother Bruce and me and Milt McCory, who I thought a lot of as a fighter, especially being with Kronk and Emmanuel Stewart, because Emmanuel Stewart was one of the best coaches in the game at that time. And, Milton's 6'1", I'm 5'10", and he having that, advantage on reach and height was going to make a tough fight for me. And I knew it was going to be tough. And being coached by Emmanuel Stewart, was another thing that was on my mind that I would have to overcome and beat. And I did. And I never knew in a million that I would knock Milton out the way I did.
What about that second Starling fight, though? Why did you have the edge on him? Why were you the better fighter twice in a row?
Well, Marlon was a different type of fighter than I have fought, because most boxers, Marlon was not really a boxer. I mean, he was more of a brawler.
Right.
And he threw some things at me that was just wasn't ordinary things. I had fought other guys, and I had a lot of amateur fights and a lot of professional fights. But he was one of his own, and he had a really great defense. And that was the best thing about Marlon. His defense was best. His offense wasn't the best, but it was good. But, the defense was just incredible. That was game. I never, in boxing, in my whole boxing career, going back to amateurs and professionals, he was very hard to hit. And I had never fought anybody. I hit them with these, and I did it as I pleased. But he was tough with that.
Wow. You stopped Elio Diaz in your next defense in Fort Worth. Then you went to Europe for back-to-back title fights against Nino LaRocca, a guy who was 58-1. Again, I remember this. You fought him on his turf in France, Donald, and Colin Jones, who you fought in Birmingham, England, which was his home stomping ground. You won both fights by knockout. Why were you willing to cross the ocean to face these guys?
Well, to get recognition as one, and letting people know that, in boxing, home turf has a lot of advantage to it. But I felt like that, I was a superior fighter, especially in the welterweight division. I felt like nobody in that division could beat me, so why not go to his hometown and give him a spanking?
Okay. You were there for a while, obviously. Like we said, you went to France and England. Do you got a favorite story about when you were there that you think about? Were you treated well in both places?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I love France. I loved Italy. They were some special kind of people. I was more popular in Europe than I was in the United States. So that was kind of humbling to me. And I got more recognition, being there, and that's why I had loved going over to Europe to fight, because they treated me like I was a European.
Really? They didn't wake you up in the middle of the night or anything the night before the fight?
No, they had plenty of respect for me, and that was one of my pet peeves, to be respected as a fighter. And I got that, and, that made me feel whole, perfect, and complete, about myself at that time. Remember, I was only 21, 22, 23 years old. I was still young.
Yeah.
Hey, did the British fans get drunk before the fight in those days and sing songs like they did with Hatton?
Well, the British are really, really into. When I fought Colin Jones, they're really good fans. They took that loss real hard. They wanted him to get smashed because I had cut him real bad over the nose. And the referee stopped the fight. They started throwing bottles. They started throwing things in the ring. I was like, oh, my God, am I going to ever get out of here? Okay. But that was an experience, them English. But like I said, France and Italy, I had a good time. But England, it was kind of, I didn't really like the bottle throwing. That kind of not scared me, but, getting hit by a bottle. Colin Jones was a big punch. He could really punch. He hit me to the body one time in that fight, and I'm telling you now, I'm all Colin. I got to get you up out of here, man, because you are a big puncher. And he hit me with a good shot.
We're talking. Go ahead.
And Colin Jones was a good fighter. You know, he fought Milton. You know, they fought twice. And also, he represented England in the Olympics. So, you know, he was a good pedigree. He was good at what he did. And I have all the respect for him because he could really punch.
We're talking to a living legend on the Ringside Boxing Show, and International Boxing Hall of Famer Donald Curry. Okay, so the fight, you started talking about this earlier, but the fight that a lot of fans remember is against Milton McCrory, who was 27-0. He held the WBC title at that time. He was actually a pretty good friend of yours, I think. You got him in 1985 at the Las Vegas Hilton, knocked him out in the second round, and I mean this guy was, like you said, a stud from Kronk Gym. Did you surprise yourself that night, knocking him out too?
Very much so. I mean, I don't think I was ever more happy with my performance, and I guess we were kind of pretty close friends, and, we did things together, but, I mean, I've never been so much happy winning that fight than any fight that I ever fought besides, making the Olympic team, but I was really, really, really happy. And plus, I had beat one of my friends, and, I knew that, if I didn't kick Milton's butt and we were friends, he was going to have, he's going to make fun of me, I thought. So that's why I really took that fight really serious, because I wanted to be able to be the noise talker in the game. But, I mean, after the fight, we really didn't do that because of the respect we have for each other.
And you didn't fight each other again. How come?
Oh, Milton didn't want no more of me after me knocking him out. Oh, no.
You didn't think that was a fluke or anything? Nope.
That wasn't probably, it wasn't a lucrative fight, and I don't think, or the promoter didn't think that, it was sellable. I beat him so easy that, people would think the same thing would happen.
I'm surprised you didn't make a lot of money on that fight. What was your biggest payday?
Yeah, it was my biggest payday. I made $750,000.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you remember, I'm only 23, 24. That type of money was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Back then it was. You bet.
Yeah. And, I did the game. I did boxing, especially on the professional, for money. But, $750,000 was more than I've ever had in my life. So that was enough money for me. I mean, I couldn't fight for people who, thought it was $1 million or whatever. But I was really satisfied.
This is something people might not realize. That made you the first undisputed world welterweight champion since, I think, Ray Leonard did it. Was that a head trip for you to have all the belts?
Money-wise, no. But to have that accolade under my belt, yes. I mean, it makes you feel a lot better. And boxing was a feel for me, and the more that I was able to do things like that, the more confident I got about the game of boxing.
Yeah. Okay, so talk to us about what went wrong when you fought Lloyd Hunnigan. I was, again, watching this fight, Donald, and it was a shocker because you went to England, obviously. He was 27-0. He was a good fighter.
It was Atlantic City.
He was not a good fighter.
I'm sorry. I read that wrong. He was from England. I'm sorry. He was from England. 27-0, and you fought him at Caesars in Atlantic City, and you were a heavy favorite. But you were also having some managerial issues. Your grandfather died.
Well, the main thing, remember, I just had fought Milton McCrory. I just knocked him out in 2 rounds. So I went to my promoter and told him that, I need somebody, I need a bigger fighter. Hey, I just knocked out my best friend, a guy who I thought was the best in that weight division besides myself. I need a payday. I was looking to make $1 million. I was young and I was looking to make $1 million, and I thought that would, make me even better. Where I went back and fought for $500,000 to fight Huntington, and I really didn't want to fight the guy. I didn't know the guy. I never heard of the guy, and I just did not want to fight him, and it showed in my fight. I didn't prepare regular for the fight because, I really didn't want that fight. I wanted.
Who did you want to fight instead? Who was out there for you?
In the welterweight division, he was the next mandatory, but people around me, at the time, anybody for $1 million, I would have fought anybody if they would have came with $1 million. But I just knocked out million for $750,000, and usually how my money was won, the more I be more installment. I got a bonus. I beat millions. I got a bonus. But I'm just saying, I was looking for $1 million. $1 million fight. You really wasn't after. I was still young and didn't know the business, but I was looking for something better, bigger and better. And when they threw Lord Huntington and I went back, I made $500,000 for that fight, and I just did not want it. I wanted my $1 million. And that was, I was still in my 20s and not really understanding the business. I felt like I had proved myself. Why come I can't have what I want? This is me and my promoter. Maybe it wasn't there for me. At that time, I didn't know that, but I was doing everything that I was supposed to do. Why come I can't have what I have? I was always easily to get to these fights with these promoters, and when it came to me to step up and speak about what I wanted, I didn't really get it, and it kind of took a lot of my power, my thought, my will to really, do the game.
So mentally, you weren't really there that night when you fought Lloyd Huntington.
That's right. Is that word show, yeah. I didn't get ready. I was so high, so hyped and so high. If you go back and watch that fight, and when I knocked Milton out, you see me throw my hands up in the air, have an expression that I had never had in any fight that I fought. So, and after that fight, I thought, hey, I'm going to get $1 million, because, that was one of my big things that I wanted to do, at least get to the $1 million rank. And when I did, I got really, really disappointed. I really was just, I had never been so disappointed in my life coming out of that type of fight. And then going into Huntington, even though it was a mandatory, which I didn't really know a whole lot about mandatories, that you got to fight this guy. They didn't come at me like that. My people didn't come at me. You got to fight this guy. He's a mandatory. And, once you beat this guy, we'll go up and find somebody for you to fight for $1 million. They could have came at me like that, but they didn't. And, it was a really bad situation mentally for me. And it showed.
So talk to us about the aftermath of that fight for you. I mean, there was a shocking loss, shocked the whole boxing community.
Did you lock yourself in a room somewhere for a while to deal with the anger and frustration of that loss? How did you deal with it?
Oh, man, don't take me back to those emotions. Damn, man, I don't want to go back about it. No, but anyway, but yeah, that was kind of, I felt that, my career was over. I felt that I didn't have the power. When you're in boxing, beating Milt McCrory and those type of guys, the way that you do that, that gives you a lot of power to be able to negotiate your next fight or whatever. And when I tried to do that, when there was no fighter of their caliber of Milton to be able to go after money, I had to go back, because nobody knew Harnigan, and I was like, find me a guy who can make me, get up and do the thing that I need to do. And it wouldn't be Harnigan. Nobody even knew the guy. I had never heard of the guy.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my downfall, and I wish I could go back and do that all over again.
Were you having trouble making 147 by then? Because you wanted to move to middleweight at that.
Yes and no, but if it came down to a fight that was threatening to me, this guy has enough skills in his arsenal to beat me, then I'm gonna go out there and work my butt off.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have that. Like Milt McCrory, I knew he was gonna be a tough fight, a good fighter, and a good pedigree. Somebody I grew up with, somebody I knew who was gonna be a hell of a fight if I fought it. And that would make me make the weight. If I had those type of fighters to make me go out there and do the thing that I need to do to get ready, I can make the fight. I can make the weight.
Because you wanted to move to middleweight at that point and fight McCallum or Marvin Hagler, right?
That's promoters. Those were the promoters.
Promoters used to do that.
Yeah, that's promoter style. Yeah.
Okay. Because what I read was that Sugar Ray Leonard, who was retired by that time, and his attorney, Mike Traynor, talked you out of it.
Right. Yeah, they did do that. Yeah.
He wanted Hagler himself, as it turns out.
Well, yes. Because like I said, he the one really talked me back into the welterweight division, and I was telling him, fighting guys who are not really named, won't give me the motivation to make the weight. If I found guys and I was going to get paid like I felt like I thought, I would go out there and work my ass off to make the weight. But if it was guys like Hunter, those guys are not going to make me make the weight. Because, nobody knew them. And, the money was good, but, I'm looking, and like I said, I was young. And I was looking, to make, that $1 million cow.
Yeah. So you ended up fighting McCallum for the WBA super welterweight title.
Right.
July of '87. He actually knocked you out in the 5th round. What happened that night? Was he just too big?
Oh, yeah, Bill, he was a little bit too big for me. I was hitting. I was kind of stunned of how I was hitting this guy, Mike McCallum. I knew from back in the day, like I said, he was another guy who was a lot older than I was, about 5 or 6 years. But I've seen him. I had never really watched Mike, but I knew every time I would read about him, he would always do something, incredible, stunning, or to make me recognize his name. But, it was a good fighter. it's just that in that fight, I was beating him so easy that I kind of might even start making mistakes and dropping my hand. But I mean, it kind of freaked me out in the fight that I was about to stop this guy and hit him and wobbling him like I did. And I kind of, relaxed a little bit and got caught.
Yeah. So you fought 4 more times for world titles, twice as super welterweight against Rene Jacquet, Terry Norris, and Emmett Linton, and once at middleweight against Michael Nunn. You lost those fights, Donald. Were a 150 to 160 pounders just too big, or do you think you were getting to the point where maybe your skills were starting to fade a little bit?
Well, yeah, that too. Both of them. The weight and the skill. Because, even if you win fights, and let me see, the fight with Starling, the 2 fights, really wasn't. But I was trying to find a fight that, I won, and, physically, getting hit on your brain or doing the fight, that takes a toll on you, and you're still good, but sometimes you lose things. You lose some of your skills, and I was beginning to do that, and I didn't feel as confident as I once did going in. My game has changed. I have been through a lot of, hard fights, tough fights, and that takes a toll on you. And I didn't know that then, but now that I've experienced it, it took a toll on me. And, sometimes, you lose your skill if you don't know how to skill yourself off, which I didn't at that time. But, yeah, I was losing some of my fundamental skills, and that bothered me mentally.
What about your desire, Donald? I'm just curious. Was it still the same later in your career, or was it not like it was when you were?
I felt like I lost how to win. I had been through some grueling fights. Some of them fights I won. Some I lost, and once you go through that grueling and you start losing some of your skills, you don't. It was a crazy feeling, because boxing was a feel to me. And, you get ready based on your skill. And once my skills start deteriorating, I didn't put the effort in like I should have.
I see. Well, you faced a lot of great fighters in your career, a lot that we've named. And who do you, of the guys you fought, the great fighters, who do you consider the best of the bunch?
I would have to say Mike. No. I would have to say Marlon.
Wow.
Well, the reason why I said Marlon was a guy who defense, like I said, was incredible. His offense was okay, but his defense was really, really incredible. And like I always told him, you made me a better defensive fighter when I fought you, Marlon. Marlon, I tell him, man, you were hard to hit, and you made my defense. Because the better defense you have, the better off you'll be out. You're better off you'll be once you retire. Some of these guys you can't understand. They can't speak well, and the better defense with a better defense. And I know you have spoken to Mark, and he spoke.
Yeah.
He speaks pretty good, for being in the game. And I have to applaud you, Starling, that, you speak really well, coming out the game because, like I said, I fought you and your defense was incredible.
Yes. So you retired in 1991, and then you came back 6 years later for a couple of fights to make some money. Was it difficult for you to walk away from the sport? Was it difficult being out of the sport when you retired in 91?
No, I was happy as hell. No,
really?
I had exalted myself. I could, I was the best in the game at one time. And, I was aging. And, if you ever, I watch a lot of sports, and I hear a lot about aging and older people getting older and not being as good as they once was. And I was able to experience that, understand that. So, I'm okay with it. I mean, I can move on, and it's for some fighters, it's very hard for them to move on, even in life, because, they have a car wreck, I call it a car wreck, or they don't do something that they thought they were going to do in the game and, lose faith, or, I call them car wreck, or have a car wreck, and, it's, let's go Marlon on the other line. I'd be a car wreck, and once you, lose faith in yourself, it's better to get out the game or lose faith in your skill.
Mm-hmm.
It's better to move out, get out the game. And, at that time I didn't understand that, but now I do. Once your skills start deteriorating, and not so much, it started with Marlon, Marlon Summer, even though I beat him twice. I kind of felt that, it was starting to feel a little inferior because the next fights or the next couple of preparations for my fight, I was starting to get hit where usually I didn't get hit. And that was kind of telling me, even though I won that fight, you still take a little, damage to the brain, the feet, the hand speed, and all that.
You feel like you came away from the game pretty healthy? You feel good today?
Oh, my God, yes. I mean, it kind of speaks for itself, doesn't it? I mean, I still think, okay, I talk okay. I don't, well, I may be gonna ask you guys, how well do I talk?
You talk pretty damn well. I mean, we've had some guys on this show over the years who really struggle to get it out. But, I mean, your brain's working fine.
Okay.
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
John, you're training fighters now, right? How much do you enjoy that part?
Oh, well, you know what? I started after I retired the game. I started training guys. Started really loving the sport. Fell back in love with the sport. But during that time, I caught asthma. And asthma kind of slowed me down a little bit. I couldn't get out and run with the guys anymore. I couldn't hold the mitts, do things that I knew that were going to get you a win. I couldn't do that no more. And I'm still trying to figure out how am I going to fit into the game. And I'm just going to look like I'm going to have to be just a straight-out coach, not really a trainer. Because in my philosophy, in my mind, what I think, the coach who helps train the guy, hit the mids on the back and things like that, will really make a big impact in his preparation. And that's a bigger part of being part of the winning. And I can't do that no more.
Last one for you. Last one for you, and then we'll let you call Marlon back. What do you think of the welterweight division today? Spence and Crawford and Porter and Danny Garcia and all those guys.
Oh man, that reminds me. That really doesn't remind me of anything about going back in the game and seeing Jose Napoli, maybe Curtis Coates and guys like that. But that's very competitive division, and that's the best division I thought in boxing right now because with Sean Porter, Crawford, the guy here in Dallas,
Errol Spence.
Errol Spence, and then Thurman. So, those guys are highly competitive and really, really, and I mean, got to be really stay focused on any moment because anything could happen. That is a tremendous division.
And Pacquiao's still hanging around. Manny Pacquiao's still around.
Yeah, Pacquiao was there too. Yeah. I'm sorry, Pacquiao, that I didn't mention you, but yes, Pacquiao. Yeah, he's in my little scientific boxing, I think he's the second best in that division. I think Terry Crawford and Pacquiao are right there together.
And Spence is number 3 then?
Well, Spence is number 1.5.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
And Crawford is 1. Pacquiao maybe 1.5. Spencer 1.5. But they're very close.
Yeah.
On their skill level, even with Crawford and Spence are little big welterweights. Big welterweights, and that may be a little problem for Pacquiao because Pacquiao's not a true welterweight.
Right.
Yep, that's true. Hey, Donald Curry, the Lone Star Cobra, is officially one of boxing's all-time greatest fighters. He was enshrined in the International Boxing Hall of Fame earlier this year. Hey, Donald, congratulations on a fantastic career. Thanks for the memories, my friend. It's been a real pleasure talking to you today on the Ringside Boxing Show.
All right, thank you very much. I'm glad you're having me on.
We loved it.
We overuse the word, but our guest today has been the great Donald Curry. Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Take care.
Hey, do you like this podcast? Do us a solid. Tell other boxing fans about us. Post the Ringside Boxing Show on your social media outlets. Help us grow. Also, if you haven't yet discovered the best website in the world for daily boxing news, you got something to do right now, something to add to your bucket list. We update RingsideBoxingShow.com 365 days a year with the biggest headlines and most intriguing stories from all over the globe. This should be your first stop every morning. Might be the only boxing site you need to visit all day. Check it out right now, and you will be amazed, guaranteed. RingsideBoxingShow.com. We want to thank our expert analysts, Travis Hartman, Rizwan Zahid, John J. Raspanti, for their weekly contribution to this show, as well as our outstanding British correspondent, Paul McLaughlin, who couldn't be with us this week. And, of course, another huge thanks to today's featured guest, International Boxing Hall of Famer, former undisputed welterweight champion of the world, the Lone Star Cobra, Donald Curry. And as always, we thank you, Ringside Nation, for being a part of our worldwide audience again today. Keep your chin tucked. We'll talk to you again next week on the Ringside Boxing Show.
Well, it's a great day for me to whoop somebody's ass. It's a bad day, so you better get off of my back. You might get cold cocked if you cross my path. It's a great day